Hello everyone, NathanSifu here, and welcome to my very first ever movie review. That might seem a little out of place on a gaming channel, but it is a gaming-related movie, so I think it kind of fits. I'll first start off by addressing anybody who might be watching this video with their kids, because they're looking for a non-spoiler review of the Sonic movie. And I will say that for the first little bit of this video, I'm actually going to refrain from using any colorful words, shall we say, just in case there's kids watching, and then I'll give a warning to let you know that I'm going to start using stuff like that. So, first and foremost, just to get out of the way quick, the extremely short version of this review is, this movie was good, and there was nothing in it that I would deem to be inappropriate for kids. I think if you bring your kids to go watch this movie, and you can watch it with your family and friends, you will have a good time. You'll enjoy yourself. And I'd highly encourage that you go do it. It was a fun time for me and my family, and I think that you'll have a very similar experience, especially if you happen to be around my age range, in your 30s, and you grew up on the old Sega games. I think you might have a little bit of a bias that helps you enjoy this movie just a little bit more. Oh, and before I forget to mention, stick around during the credits. They have some scenes going on. Now, I don't know if this would vary from theater to theater, but you don't need to stay till the very end of the credits. Once the credits actually go to like the old, black screen with white text moving up, at that point I think you can leave. At least that's what the case was for me. I stuck to the very, very end, but there wasn't anything there. But they kind of have the thing where they do almost like Wreck-It Ralph style, where they have like animations, looking like the old Sonic games going on that are kind of highlighting scenes from the movie. But then they cut to something like another scene or something. You're probably going to want to stick around for those. They're pretty good. So with that out of the way, if you happen to have any kids in the room that are watching this video, this would probably be a good time to hit the back button and head out, because I'm just gonna start speaking my mind now. So here we go. Now, just to give you an idea of my personal background with the Sonic franchise, I grew up on the older Sonic games, like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic CD, and the classic Sonic games, the side-scrollers on the Sega Genesis, and the Sega CD. And then after that, I didn't really enjoy the Sonic games that came out after that. Once they hit the age of 3D, like Sonic 3D Blast and onwards, I wasn't really into the Sonic franchise that much anymore. It just strayed too much away from what I liked about the original series, and I found that the Sonic character was just kind of annoying. I found pretty well all of the characters annoying. So that's kind of where I come from. That's my background on it. And then, of course, when they came out with Sonic Mania, I was really excited, because that's the kind of Sonic game I've been hoping for all these years, and it was good to see them come back to that. So that's just where I come from. And I think if you're like me and those are the kinds of Sonic games that you enjoy, I think you're going to get a little bit more out of this movie than most. I think it's still possible to enjoy this movie, even if you were an avid Sonic fan and you're going to watch the movie with your kids or with some friends and whatnot. I think you can probably still get something out of it. Like I went with my wife and my son, and even though my wife didn't really play any of the Sonic games, she actually got more laughs out of it than I did. Which is kind of another point I wanted to say. The movie actually is pretty funny at some parts. I wasn't splitting my sides or anything. But no, I got a few chuckles out of it, and that was kind of a pleasant surprise, because I went into this movie thinking that it would probably just be okay, but I ended up walking away from it thinking, yeah, actually that was pretty good. And I really hope that they make a sequel. I think redesigning Sonic was, from the old trailers where that abomination that they called Sonic before. I think getting rid of that old design and reworking him was probably the best decision they could have possibly made, because, let's be honest, it was also a free publicity stunt, which, I gotta be honest, I have a feeling that entire thing was fabricated. I don't think Sonic ever was meant to look like that for the final cut. I honestly think that maybe, just maybe, that 1.0 Sonic was actually just a stunt to generate some talk around the movie. That he was never intended to look like that. It was just all a marketing stunt. And you know what? Bravo. If that's the case, it worked. I'm not even going to fault them for it. Because I think of certain parts of the movie that, and again, I'm not getting into any spoilers, I cannot possibly imagine certain portions of this movie working with the 1.0 Sonic. I'm going to call it right now. I really think that it was not intended to ever look like that. Either that, or they didn't just revamp Sonic's look, but they revamped the story as well. I mean, that would be a major, major overhaul just before the release of the movie. But yeah, otherwise, I would say I'd say that they did a really good job with with the material they had to work with. They had a good, they did really well at bringing Sonic to life and staying true to his character without making him obnoxious. I can't really say that there was any point in the movie that I found that he was really annoying. There was like one there was one joke in particular that I thought didn't really land all that well. Well, okay, maybe there was a couple that didn't really land all that well, but I think they did good at making him not be obnoxious like he is in Sonic Boom. Like if you watch the Sonic Boom series, good lord, it's unwatchable. I cannot have it on. Like it was just on in the background one time, and I think it was on for less than a minute, and it was just like, no, this is intolerable, and I had to change it. Another thing that I really liked in the movie that I thought that they did particularly well was there were quite a few callbacks and Easter eggs in regards to the old games, whether they were characters or references from the old games or phrases or names of levels, and even some audio cues like some of the music and stuff from the old games. I think it's pretty cool that they did that, and that they that they tried to appeal to the older gamers like me. I really appreciated that, actually. And there was probably quite a few references and Easter eggs that I didn't even pick up on. So yeah, I mean, at some point I think I'll probably rewatch it. I don't know if I'll end up seeing it in theaters again. Maybe I will, depending on the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, like if my friends team called me up and would just be like, hey man, I'd like to go see it. Do you want to come along? I'd be like, yeah, sure, definitely. And I mean, hell, I might even buy it because I really appreciate what they did, and I'd like to see a sequel happen. Also, just something I wanted to mention. I thought Jim Carrey made a decent Robotnik. It was kind of the first time that I saw Robotnik as actually being like a menacing enemy. I thought that in other iterations, like when in some of our old cartoons, he came off as a guy who was good at making gadgets and robots and stuff, but otherwise he was just kind of incompetent. He just was not bright, and he had no way of stopping, of all things, a really fast hedgehog. That just kind of seemed absurd to me the older I got. But in this, he seemed actually, I mean, obviously, ridiculous and eccentric and, cartoon villainy. But he was definitely a threat. And it was interesting to see a side of him like that. And even though Jim Carrey didn't exactly look the part, he wasn't like round and overweight and that kind of thing, especially at the very, towards the end of the movie, which I can't really get too much into. You may have even seen a screenshot of it. I found, other than being overweight, he really looked the part. So I think for those reasons, I think he was actually probably a pretty good pick for the movie. Now, besides, giving my overall general review of the movie and that, why you should go see it, there's a couple of things sort of kind of outside the movie that I feel really make it good. And I think first and foremost was the fact that they went through the effort. If they did actually redesign the Sonic movie, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Maybe let's backpedal a little bit on my conspiracy that that 1.0 Sonic was never intended to be the final release version. Let's backpedal on that a little bit, and let's assume it actually was. If it was, then that means that they actually did something that movie directors have not been doing, and they actually listened to the fans. And they took their feedback in, and they actually, acted on that criticism. And I think that is really, really important. I think it's fantastic that they actually did that. And I don't think that that's giving fans too much power. I think especially if it's an established franchise and you want to do something like make the main character look like a fucking monster, then I think it's good that they listened to the fans and they redesigned it. Rather than, doing what other, what other directors have been doing and other, producers and calling fans man babies and just insulting their audience in this shit and all this other shit. Like, that is such a bad move. It is such an unbelievably bad move to attack your audience. That's the worst possible move you can make. And like let's take even just let's take the low hanging fruit here. The Ghostbuster movies. I think it was 2016. I don't fucking remember when it came out. When that first came out, and they did so much attacking and insulting of the original audience, and the movie fucking sucked. It flopped, and it was not in any way a success. And thank God it wasn't a success. That's why I'm glad that this movie, the Sonic movie, is actually doing really well. I can't confirm, but I think I heard it was the biggest opening weekend for any video game related movie. That's huge. And that's also really important because it shows proof that giving fans what they want, catering to the audience, is a good thing. It's profitable for the movie. It works. So I think if we see more of that, if more movies like that are successful, then maybe movies will start getting good again. Maybe after enough of various franchises attacking and insulting fans, if enough of those types of movies flop and the opposite of that, those movies start to succeed, maybe we'll start to see a turn in the tide and we'll see movies actually starting to become entertaining again. I know that seems like a bit of a tangent, but it's actually a really big deal. Because here's the other part of the movie that makes it really, really good. There is no political message. There is no message trying to be shoved down our throats. They don't tell you how to think or anything like that. And that is also really, really important. It's not trying to push this woke shit onto the audience, which there's way too much of that nonsense in the entertainment industry now. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to be told how to think. I don't want to be lectured to. And that's why this, there's a few movies to me that kind of stick out like that. It's just there to entertain, like Alita Battle Angel and recently this. It's just a good movie. You put it on, eat the popcorn, eat the snacks, drink the pop. It's fun. Holy shit, it's fun. Isn't that great? I'd like to see that formula return, please. That would be fantastic. Because let me tell you, they wanted this movie to fail. Critics really, really wanted Birds of Prey to succeed and wanted Sonic to fail, and the complete opposite has happened. I think, was it? I could be getting my numbers wrong, so don't fact check me. I mean, go ahead, fact check me, whatever. I think Birds of Prey made $54 million in its opening weekend, which that's pretty good. It's pretty good, but after that, it kind of just dropped off a cliff, I think. And last I heard, they were struggling to even break even now. Sonic has made 111 million. Did I say 11 million earlier? I meant 111 million. They have already made their money back on the movie, so now everything from here on out is profit. It's so in every metric, it's a success. I guess there were even articles coming out calling fans, entitled for having Sonic's appearance changed, and it's like, excuse you? You mean the paying customer who has an opinion? You're calling them entitled? No, excuse me. That is not what entitlement is. And actually, you know what? Scratch that. In this particular case, how would entitlement even be a bad thing? If you bought something that was broken, for example, and you wanted to go to the store to have it returned or get a new version of it that wasn't broken, would you be called entitled for that? No, you would be called a customer. So, yeah, pardon me, but fuck that noise. Fuck it all the way, please. And the other thing that I found that was really weird, just more signs of them wanting this movie to fail, was I saw blatant misinformation prior to the movie's release. Because, you know, I knew that I was going to be bringing my son to the movie, and I was a little concerned. I thought, well, you know, is there going to be stuff in the movie that isn't going to be appropriate for kids? So I looked online, and I found this thing that was supposed to be like early reviews of the movie, and I started questioning it. It was like, wait a minute, where's this information coming from? The movie's not out yet. Have there been any early screenings? And now, I said I wasn't going to spoil anything, and I'm staying true to that. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm giving what I would call anti-spoilers. These people described scenes that were supposedly in the movie, and they were total bullshit. They were saying, you know, oh yeah, geez, no, I don't think that this movie's so appropriate for kids. There was this really weird scene where the woman, I can't remember what her name was you know, fantasizing about having Robotnik's kids and all this other stuff, and it was really weird, and it was like kind of weird and sexy, and you know, and so I was looking out for that scene when we were watching the movie, because, you know, I was skeptical, because I thought, well, wait a minute, how would they know that? You know, when did they get to see this movie? And so then I watched the movie, and you know, beginning and end of the movie came and went, and that never fucking happened. There was nothing like that. So yeah, so besides critics trying to smear it and, you know, trying to, you know, call fans entitled and all that stuff, there was quite a bit of misinformation going around about this movie, and I think it's kind of fucking insane that they're doing that about a movie centered around a blue hedgehog that runs fast. That's just beyond me that even exists. I can't believe that's a problem. Oh, I don't mean to sound angry. I really don't. I do mean this video to be positive. I want to bring a hopeful message that if you go see Sonic, you'll have a good time. That's the overall message what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I think I'm probably starting to get a little bit rambly. I can't really say a whole lot beyond that without getting into spoiler territory, and I won't do that. I won't spoil the movie for anybody who wants to go see it. I guess my final message in terms of going to see the movie is, if you were one of the people that found the original 1.0 Sonic design to be just completely outrageous, but then you were impressed that they came back and made him look so good, go and see it. The movie is probably a lot better than you think it is. You'll probably actually get a few more laughs than you think you will. It was a fun and entertaining experience, and if you're like me and you really enjoy the classic Sonic games, and you want to replay them, I got another message for you, because this had me kind of yearning to want to play Sonic again. And there isn't really any newer Sonic games that I think are good, aside from Sonic Mania. Sonic CD being the best one, of course, in my opinion. There's one more Sonic game. It's a fan-made project that's coming out. I just found out about this today. It's called Sonic Freedom. You can go find them on Twitter, and they released a new thing on YouTube just recently. I think it was just February 10th, actually. And holy shit, this game looks awesome. This looks really, really good. They rebuilt it in Unity, and according to their Twitter bio, they have hand-drawn all the assets. They made it look like a cartoon. It looks... Do you remember that cartoon intro that was in Sonic CD? It looks like that when you're playing it, and it's all hand-drawn. So, I mean, props to them for going through that much effort to make it hand-drawn and to make it look so good. And it sounds really good too. The guy that they got to make the music, it sounds really authentically like a Sonic game. I think the game might be coming out later this year, I don't know if they have like a GoFundMe or anything like that, but I would actually like to make a donation or something towards them, because this is the first Sonic game since Sonic Mania that I've actually been really excited for. It's just kind of too bad that it's not official, I guess. But hey, you know, I might be dipping into a few other fan-made games as well. There's a few fan-made titles that I've been getting into, that I've been getting excited for. But anyway, that's the end of my non-spoiler review. Please, you know, let me know what you think, and if you saw the movie, you know, let me know if you thought it was good. And by all means, go see the movie, guys. It's a fun time. I am NathanSifuGaming, and more gaming videos to come.